business like me, shake. Aiming for I goes clear, click. Moving forward, no need to reach back. Tell me where I need to preach at. Tell me where I need to speak at.
Like Meshach. Let's go, man. Every single time. Welcome back to the CROWNEDCAST Podcast. Always with me is Joel Engulu, my incredible business partner, co-host. I'm Joseph Honeysett, and today we're bringing another Texas episode to the CROWNEDCAST. We have the incredible host of the Maxed Out Podcast, former NFL cheerleader, and we're speaking it into existence for her. She's going to be a sideline reporter or something in Sports Network. We're putting that out there for her. But Miss Taylor Ahrens is here on the CROWNEDCAST today. How are you doing, ma'am?
Doing so well. I'm so excited to be here and tell my story and just hear from you guys too.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's an honor.
Well, let's get into it. I love stories. I love testimonies because everyone has a journey that we can relate to, but someone is going to relate to your message and your story. So let's get into it. Share us your testimony, Taylor. Let us know, like, hey, did you grow up a Christian? Did you find God later? What was your journey like from upbringing all the way to this point now? This is your time to shine. So tell us your story.
Yeah, I've always been a Christian and I've grown up in a Christian household. So God has always been a part of my life. And he is even more so now because I have had so many great opportunities. And I really think it's because of him. And he's really been a light in my life and guided me through like the toughest of times and the highest of times. So I think he's always been there for me. And I think my path has been, so unique. I was born in Dallas and then I grew up a lot. So I was already moving in total from like elementary school up to high school. I lived in five different states in 10 different cities when I was 18 years old. So that's a lot, like coming to a new school, being the new girl all over again, starting from the ground up, getting new friends. And it got even harder as I got to like middle school and high school because they're like already have their friend groups and they're like, hey, who is this new girl? So it was always hard, but I always knew like it was going to be okay. It was going to work its way out. I know I was meant to be having these opportunities, being able to be adaptable to change, to be diverse. So I've always relied on God to help me and find my way through all those hard times. And then even in my professional career, I ended up in Houston. I went to University of Houston for college, and my dream was to be a professional cheerleader. And I made that happen. But a lot of people don't know that it took a lot of no's to get that one yes. I tried out for multiple teams before getting that yes. I tried out for college teams. I went out to Ole Miss. They told me no. For their college dance team. TCU, tried out for their dance team. They told me no. I went to LA, tried out for the LA Rams. They said no. So I got so many no's. And I was like, hey, that's okay. Like, it wasn't the right yes for me. It wasn't God's plan for me. And I'm so appreciative that I knew that. And I made Texans, and I was a Houston Texans cheerleader for 4 years, and it was the best years of my life. And I got an opportunity out in Arizona, and I was like, hey, I did everything I could do as a cheerleader. I went to Pro Bowl. I got to go on a USO tour. I did so many amazing things as a Texans cheerleader. I was like, okay, we got to go and pursue this opportunity out in Arizona. And it was to be on the radio, an on-air host for the radio. So that I went there, and then I was getting kind of lonely. I was like, I still have that itch to dance. Maybe I try out for the Cardinals out there. So what do? I tried out all over again, and I ended up making it. And it was the best year doing broadcasting, which was the end goal, and then making another cheer team. So in the end, I cheered for the NFL for about 5 years, which was incredible. It was most, life-changing experience. But I will say the year after I retired, it was so hard. They talk a lot about it. I don't know if a lot of people talk about it, but like when an athlete retires, it was your whole life. I danced from a little girl till I still do, but not like I used to. And I was like, okay, so what's next? I was only 24 years old, and I was like, I did a lot within 24. I was like, is this as best as it gets? That year was really, I did have to go to church more. And I did have to really rely on God because I was in such like a low place. And I was living out in Arizona too. I didn't have much family out there. I was by myself. I was just, kind of seeing my apartment. I would go to work and there was no one really in the office because everyone would work from home. And I was like, okay, well, this is kind of lonely. So that was the times that I really had to rely on God, and he helped me get back to Houston. And now I'm here in Houston pursuing sports and broadcasting and getting to do high school football here in Texas, college football. And I got to do so many amazing opportunities this past football season. And I'm just super excited what's to come for this season. So it's been a journey, and I'm missing a lot of parts that I've been rambling on for a while, but it's been great. The highs, the lows, and everything in between.
No, that's awesome. You're part of two religions, Christianity and Texas high school football.
Amen.
Well, I mean, did you get to meet some famous people? Like, did you meet J.J. Watt and all that when you were at Texans?
Yes, I did. So ironically enough, he cheered. No, he played football for the Cardinals, and then, or he started with the Texans. And I was like, I was just following JJ Watt. If he could do it, I could do it. But I actually got to meet him for a couple. We would do community events, and as a cheerleader, you're required to go out in the community and do appearances like that. And I did a couple celebrity golf events that he was there, so I got to meet him a couple times.
Wow, that's awesome.
Wow, that's awesome. Wow, you spoke a lot about like no's. You got a lot of no's before you got that yes. And I'm in sales, and so I get 100 no's for that one yes, and then for that one yes kind of carries me to the next one. You know, you talk about like that experience of, because entrepreneurship or even life in general, like you're gonna get a lot of no's. Can you talk about like the pain and how you get out from that? Like, what did you do to like understand that, hey, this is just not for you. It's not in God's plan. This is not, now that one yes might be God's plan, but how did you deal with that, and what did you do to get out of that?
Absolutely. I'm still getting no's today. I get reject emails all the time, and I actually got one recently. It was like, you need to refine your craft more, which, hey, it wasn't the right yes for me. But, you know, it always stings when you get those no's. And of course, they're going to hurt you for a second because you're like questioning yourself and what you do. Am I good enough? Like, that's immediately the response that you tell yourself, like, am I good enough? But in the end, I always have to believe, this is what gets me through those no's, is that like it wasn't the right yes for me, and I have a higher calling. Like there's something bigger for me out there, and I wasn't meant to have that yes in that moment. Or maybe I had to go learn another lesson along the way. There's so many things that people told me no, and I was like, I don't understand. I was perfect for the role. I was perfect for the job. Whatever it is, I was perfect for it. But I had to go learn something along the way before I got that yes, because I wasn't ready to be in that position. I work for a company called HotWorks. I'm one of their fitness virtual instructors. They now have like 900 locations around the globe. So they're worldwide. And I tried out for that two times before making it into that position. And I remember I was like, I don't know why, like I am perfect for this role. I do fitness and broadcasting. I would be perfect for the position, but I was just too young to get that yes, but I knew it was right for me. So I just kept working. I kept grinding. I learned things along the way. And then I finally got that yes. So in that role, that path, I knew that was right for me, and I was going to do everything I could to go get that yes. But sometimes they're just not meant for you. So I really believe if it's meant for you, it'll find you. And if it's not, it's okay. There's a higher calling for you, and you just got to believe God's plan, that everything is thrown for you for a reason. If you're in your lowest of lows, your highest of highs is about to come.
That's a fact. I heard Gary Vee always talk about that. He would say, if I'm at the top, I know I'm going to go down to the bottom eventually. If I'm at the bottom, I know eventually I'll get back to the top. And, you know, I always tell people that the no's build you and the yeses build your business, or the yeses build your dream, right? It's so important to have the no's. My dad was in show business, and he got told no 100 million times, and then he finally had his break, right? You seem like the type of woman that, like, you're very competitive. Is that true?
Yeah, I would say so. Definitely.
So when somebody tells you no, do you just kind of like, all right, let me put you on my little blacklist here, and I'm going to show you why you should have given me that yes? Are you that type of person?
Guilty as charged, yes. Yeah. I use it as fuel
motivation.
I like being the underdog. I like someone pouring gasoline, because it just gives me more motivation to just, go and do it and say, hey, look, Like, look at me now.
Exactly.
I think I just said I keep all my rejections, all those no's, or like just, even those automated ones. Cause I'm like, one day the yes is going to come and I'm going to get my dream role, my dream job, and just gonna, make a whole video of all the no's that I got along the way and show it's okay. You're going to get a lot of no's. Like, I've never met an interesting person that had it easy.
That's true. Right. How do you stay positive in those moments though? A lot of times people, they get discouraged and they fall away from their dream. Like for you, what do you mentally do that holds you on and that keeps you so positive? Because you seem like such an optimistic person.
Yes, I have just maybe it's a cheerleading personality, always cheery, always bubbly. I had a couple like roles and positions and internships. They would always call me, hey, Smiley, like you're always smiling. But of course, not every day is going to be a good day. Like I've said, I've gone through sometimes the lowest of lows, and the way I get through that, I mean, I love to exercise. That's how I, release all my stress. That's my me time. That's what I need to do. And I know that's what I need to do to get my morning started on a good note is go exercise. So that's one way for me to like clear my mind. And also through God and going to church, I think that is like, if you have the faith and you just keep believing that it's going to get better, that's another way, another outlet for me to keep that positivity, because life is about being happy. And I always think, if I'm not happy, what can I do to be happy? Like if something is not working, then I let go of it. If it's not making me happy, it's not going to be a part of my life, because all I want to be is surrounded by good energy and good people, and just because that's the end goal for everyone, is to be happy. So if anything is not working, I try to let it go and trust God and go to church and exercise are all three ways to get me to, stress release and find that peace within.
Love it. Love it.
Okay. You seem real charismatic. Like you seem like high energy. And how can someone learn that? Like if they're trying to network, they're like the imposter syndrome, they go to like places, they feel like I don't belong here. How do you like deal with that? Because I feel like it comes natural to you, but at times there's some moments when you do have that imposter syndrome. I feel like everyone goes through that, but how do you maintain that positivity to network? Because you do have to network to grow yourself, to grow your business. How do you, what are some tips that you do to get you out of that mindset and like, hey, I need to go and meet people?
Right. Like anything, you got to practice. I've not always been like this bubbly, charismatic. My younger self, I was like the shyest kid on earth. Like the only place I would really shine is on stage. That's where my alter ego would come out. So like anything, you practice. What I found in social settings, and just, it can be sometimes like really intimidating if you're at like a mixer or you're at a convention and you're just trying to network and it just doesn't seem organic. It's hard. It's going to be just kind of awkward. But like anything, I'm going to say it, like my secret is that if there's someone that I want to network with and I know they're there, then I'm going to look them up a little bit and see what they do. Do we have anything in common? Like that is what I want to bring up. So like, it's not awkward when you come into a conversation and be like, hey, I heard this about you. That is so cool. Can you tell me more about it? Like, and then it's kind of authentic. And then I've heard this before, but they say you get those Me Too moments. You just like, you want someone to be like, oh, you like pizza? Me too. Like, and it's just, they make you want like more relatable and more personable when you get those moments. And I think it's like anything. I like to, but that not everything is going to be like that, but just having those ways to really, or like questions that you just are going to go up and stand out like, hey, working on anything exciting? Like what's happening? So I think just practicing and just knowing those like bullet points of questions that you can just bring up and sell yourself too. So that's the way that I like to practice and be more personable and relatable in conversation, especially like when you're trying to network and sell yourself.
Right. Well, that's good. That's good. Because I don't know. I just talked to a lot of entrepreneurs. People ask me, how do you connect with so many people? I'm like, man, honestly, you just got to go.
Yeah.
There's no really, I mean, there's some blueprints and all that, but you just got to go try to meet. And you'll get the no, you'll get the awkward moment. You'll get the people that are like, hey, get away from me. That happens. And when you learn and you build that confidence, now next setting, you're like, I've already experienced that pain. Let me do it again, So appreciate you for sharing that.
Worst there is, they're going to say no.
Yeah.
You never know until you try.
Yep.
That's the thing.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. I'm sure your upbringing also helps with that as well. Like you said, you moved to so many different places growing up. That's kind of my like origin story as well. You would think that my dad was in the military. We probably moved around like 9 different times by middle school, and I hated it. But now I can relate to so many different people when I do walk in a room, because all the different places that I lived in were all different from each other. Did you? It sounded like in the beginning you didn't like it as a kid because new starts, new beginnings, the new kid at school. But now I'm sure that plays a part into your superpower.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, when I was a kid, I got established. I had my little friend group. I danced at a studio and just, did my thing. So, of course, when you are going to be told like, hey, we're uprooting your life and moving across the country,
Right.
That was hard for me. But yeah, I think now it's a superpower because it is so unique. Like the amount of people you meet and say like, hey, where are you from? Like they're just from the one place. They've lived in the same house their entire life. They've never moved. They've never
been on a plane.
Never been on a plane.
Yeah.
And it just, was mind blowing because I was like, that is crazy.
Yeah.
I haven't really experienced it all. And now I'm like, okay, I can, get up and change my life whenever. Like I mean, obviously I'm not going to do it for no reason, but if something comes my way, I am so adaptable to change and I can relate to so many different people. And I know like, on the West Coast, they're going to be like a little bit more, I don't know, they're more in the sunshine, a little bit more friendlier. The East Coast, the East Coast, they're not as southern. I remember
a very political answer. I like that.
Moved from my parents always said, you always say yes, ma'am, and yes, sir. And when I moved to Philly for the first time, I think I was like, yes, ma'am. And she goes, excuse me?
Yep.
That was the last time I said yes, ma'am, in Philly.
You're like, I thought y'all are the city of brotherly love. What's going on?
Right.
No, that's awesome. I want to switch gears. I'm curious about this because obviously you're in the world of sports. Sports in America dominated by men. What's it like being in that industry, in that world, from the sideline to radio to now podcast, being a woman in sports? What's that experience like?
It has its struggles, but it also has its benefits. There's obviously not as much females in the sports world, so it's kind of unique. Like you have to know more. You are always questioned about what you know, and if she's legit, that's what people are like. Does she really know her stuff? Like I really know sports. Like I really love sports. I grew up in a household of sports, so it's always been a part of my life. But sometimes I feel like back to that like underdog kind of thing. Like they're questioning my knowledge in sports, and I think I have to be more on it. Like I have to be more knowledgeable. I have to study more. So going into any type of interview that I do for my podcast or just a sideline interview, I do so much studying. I don't think people realize the amount of studying that I do. So I know everything. Like I don't get pulled like a curveball, which sometimes it happens. Like
right.
I had interviews where they've done like the most crazy one. They had like this like metal duck. I don't know where it came from, but they were like lifting it up in the background. But I'm just like, hey, look at that. That's so random. But I think the more you know, the better. That's how my method is. You just have to find your method. But I love to study. I love to be knowledgeable. And I think as a female, unfortunately, you do have to know more or just make sure that everything that you say is correct. But it's been so fun. I've met so many females along the way, and just like young females as well that have reached out to me through social media or just on the sidelines. And they're like, you're so inspiring. And I love to help the younger people because, I mean, it's crazy because I have met like females in the sports, and sometimes they're kind of like, like catty. I don't know if that's the word to say it, but I was like, no, we need to help each other up, lift each other up. So if there's any like young girls wanting to enter the sports world, please reach out to me and I would love to help you, because I think that is the best way to keep your legacy on is, just teach others of what you learned.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's huge. What advice would you give somebody, specifically women, wanting to get into sports? Like what do they need to prepare for? Maybe some battles, some doors that they need to break down. Like, what's your advice with that?
Absolutely. I think start out young. Like if you're in college and you want to pursue sports, like go get yourself an internship, or, social media nowadays is power. You can even be in high school if you want to, you want to pursue sports and reporting, like just do selfie videos and put a story in the back and just go for it. I think that is the thing that I wish I told my younger self, is like, stop hesitating. And that was another thing. Like when I first started out, I was so hesitant to go up to the athlete, go up to the coach and say, hey, can I have an interview? But you have to, like, if you don't, like, you're going to miss the interview. You're going to miss it. And you're like, they're not going to wait for you. So you just have to be like a shark in those types of situations and know it's okay. And just say the worst that happened is they're going to say no, which they're not going to turn you down. Like they want to talk about their school. They want to talk about their program. So that's the thing. Like you just got to go for it. And if it's something you really want to do, start out on social media, start out on your phone. It's free. You can just do it online and tag, people. Cold emails, those are great too. That's how I've gotten a lot of my positions. Like, hey, my name is Taylor Ahrens. This is my resume. This is what I've done. You should hire me. Send. So I think if it's really what you want to pursue, is to go for it and continue to network.
Yeah, I think people just wait for the perfect opportunity to do something, and it's like that perfect opportunity will never happen. You gotta go create it, but just have the humility to just go and try, and then let God work for you. Let God work about the outcomes. You just continue trying until a breakthrough happens. For me, I have a question. Just can you tell us a story? Because you mentioned at 24, you pretty much stopped dancing full time, and you had a transition, and that was the time you got closer to God. You pretty much almost like the rock bottom in a sense, like God made you draw back to Him, so He can pour into you until your next journey. Can you tell the story of like those moments, and then that one day or that one moment where you're like, I got it now, and then now I know which direction to go. Can you talk about that in the story?
Yes, for sure. So I was in Arizona at the time. I just retired from the Arizona Cardinals, and I was working on the radio, which I loved it. I loved it a lot, but it was like that time where no one was really fully back in the office. It was 2022, but like it was like kind of the cusp of like COVID. So people had the opportunity to work from home, so they were working from home. But then I was hired when the time they wanted people to start going back to the office. So I was basically the only one in the office. It was very isolating when I would just go to work. There was no one there. I would go home living by myself in an apartment. And then I would go like ask my friends like, hey, are you hanging out? And a lot of them still cheered at the time, because that first year I was still cheering. I was still interactive in the community. And then when you decide not to do it anymore, it was like it was lonely. So I was like, always like, I had to find a church there, and I would go like every Sunday, but then I would just come home. But those dark times, you question your like, you question your worth. Like, what am I doing? Like, you were just so lost. You're like, I was just so lost in those moments, and I just had to fall back to God and ask Him like what's next? Like, I don't know. Like, I know I want to report, but is it here in Arizona, or is it in Houston? And ultimately, I decided that it was time to move back to Houston, surround myself at least with family and what friends that I have here in Houston. And I decided it was a really, it was a tough decision because I was breaking a lease. So it was a very expensive decision. And I was like, you know what? My happiness is worth every penny. I can make money back. It'll be fine. So then I knew it was right for me to go back to Houston and really start my life over here and have sports here in Houston. So I think that getting through those moments and just knowing that like it was going to be okay. And it's so hard to just keep going. But that's another thing, like in your life or in business, if you just keep going, if you just keep doing it, it will get better. Like, I know it feels like it's not going to get better. It really does. It really does.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's weird. You think like, oh, if I stop, it's actually going to make things better. But if I go through it, then I'm still going to feel the pain. But like, you only get that relief by just continuing on moving forward. Business, relationships, opportunities. Yeah.
Right. And like, I always think about like, what if I was like this close?
Exactly. Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I'm going to just stop doing it. Like, what if I was this close?
Exactly.
I always think about that. Like, that's why I'm just going to keep going, because who knows how close that thing is for me. It could be like right here, or it could be years away from now. So
exactly. And if God doesn't want you to do it, he's going to like abruptly end it. Like he's going to make it clear to you, you know. It reminds me of I don't know if you've ever seen this graphic. It's like there's a top piece and a bottom piece. On the top, it's like a cartoon guy mining, and like you can see behind like this, he's like so close. There's diamonds on the other side of like that path that he has to, but he starts walking away. And then in the bottom, like there's another guy, and it like he ends up getting to the diamonds. Like so often I feel like we're so close to a breakthrough, but we don't have that full faith for God to intervene to break down that wall, because that's what we truly need. Like talent only gets us so far. Yes. Hard work gets us even further, but like our abilities only get us so far. God has to do the rest. Yeah, I feel like so often we lose that faith, and we're like, oh no, God wasn't telling me to do that. Right. So let me go back and let me pray to God and hope he provides another opportunity for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And knowing that like God is going to lead you a way out, like, and it's really up to you to decide.
Yeah.
Like it's, if you get through those challenges, I think that's the gift that God is giving you, showing your resilience. Like that's the lesson you get out of it. Like, hey, I overcame this. Like this was a huge lesson in my life. I just gained all of this, and now I can, go be my best self because I learned this, and God was able to throw me that hardship and just make me a better person.
Yeah, and it brings validity to like, when you're sharing with someone, now it's like you went through that, and then you have the power to share. Oftentimes people haven't gone through it, and they want to be a coach, they want to like be a teacher, and it's like, bro, who are you to say that? You're not in my situation. But since you've gone through a lot of deep stuff, it's like it gives you validity and gives you power to speak in someone's life. And I think that's what we're about. We're called lights to light up the world. And so how do you do that? Through your testimony, through what you've been through, and now you share it to other people, and they become the light. So
absolutely, especially now with like social media, everyone has that rapid, like, I want this now. Like I want
microwave mentality.
Answer now. Like everyone just wants that immediate now, but it's a process, and you just got to trust the process.
Exactly. Yeah. And that the process is the beautiful part. Like that's what's actually fun, man. Like the hard times, you look back on that and you're like, man, I'm so glad I went through that, because you can be more grateful through it. You mentioned happiness, like if everybody was happy all the time, would we be happy? Like, would we even understand happiness? Like you need to like go through some bad times. You need to be sad. So that way, when you get happy again, you can appreciate the fact that you're happy.
Makes it so much more worth it.
Yes.
When you look back, down the mountain, you reach that point of the mountain, and you can look back at the journey like, wow, that was fun. I went up and down around. I took some photos. I fell down, but I got back up, and we made it up the mountain.
Absolutely. I'm sure you can look back on like practices for cheerleading, and you're like, dang, that kicked my butt, but I feel amazing right now. Like I got better today.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think, I've gotten through a lot, but it's with anything, it's so worth it in the end. And if you just keep persevering and just keep going, it makes it so much worth it.
I mean, speaking of social media, like what are some tips you can give? Because the algorithm is always changing, and people are always trying to figure out how can I get the most views, or when should I post, or can you give us some of your nuggets that you do? Because I looked at your Instagram, looked at your social media, it's popping. You're doing something right.
Thank you.
You gotta dance, bro.
My Instagram is the little Instagram that could. So I just basically have started out this. All right, it's been, when it started, I guess I started whenever. I don't know when I started, but I was like, okay, I have something you'd like to, I can dance. Like, let's, put my dancing. And then I was like, I also love sports. Like, who dances and talks about sports? So once you find your niche, that's what they all say. But I totally agree with that. You got to find your niche. Like, what are you trying to tell people? What is your one topic that is going to get across? But once you find your niche, which is mine is like dance, football, and fitness. I have 3. I would have 3 max, and then just run with it. I think you can just post as much as you can every day, maybe twice a day. I find when I post a reel and a picture, like sometimes I do that when I have something going on. I do it once a day. And that's when my Instagram really explodes. So they say reels are good to reach new followers, and posts like scrolls are good to keep your followers.
Yeah,
that's good.
See your scrolls, and it's really about the watch time. So you want people to watch the entire reel, not just the first couple seconds and then scroll away. And then you want them to scroll through the whole picture. So the more watch time and the more attraction you get to your site. So I think the more you post, the better. And it's kind of like starting your own business. You just got to try it. Some things are going to work, and some things are not going to work. And the biggest thing about like a reel or anything, you got to have an instant hook, whether it's just like a, hey, or just catch people's attention. Because, when you think about it, it's like 3 seconds just to catch someone's attention. You got to be quick with it and then get the message across. So I guess that would be my biggest thing is, there's no limitations to how much you can post, and then find your niche. Because if you don't, and it's just like, randomness, you're not going to find like that specific group of people that will draw to your page. And and then just trial and error. I think those are the best ways to grow your account.
Hear that, Joe?
I feel targeted. No, that's really good advice. I mean, that's you're like social media manager right there with that advice. I think if you don't have that target audience, then like you're not gonna have people that stick or continue to view or really tap in and activate that algorithm. I think that's the key, is just activating the algorithm at the end of the day. But I want to change. You talked about fitness, dance, and football.
Mm-hmm.
I got a question. What do you think about Omarion's dance moves?
This guy.
For years, we thought Omarion could dance, and I'm looking at these clips, and I'm like, I think I could dance better than him.
Some of these, I mean, everyone. I try to like something that I do a lot in football season is reenact like football celebrations, and I find them really, really hard because I'm like, just what the heck are they doing? I'm like, it's not dancing. So I feel like that's like, I don't know, that like I've always said, because I'm a technically trained dancer, I grew up in like a studio doing ballet, tap and everything. It's really hard for me to like, just go out and dance, because it's just like, I don't want to go too full out, but then I don't want to be like too little. But it's like,
exactly. You're too advanced for the TikTok dances.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But Amari's could need some work. But pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad. But
pretty decent.
I thought he was on Chris Brown level. I thought he was on Michael Jackson level. And now I'm like,
he's like me.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of people have rhythm or they don't. So
exactly.
Dance is hard to teach if you don't have it.
Us white people, we're not born with it.
Yeah, like
I didn't say anything. You said it.
You gotta work on especially like hip hop, like locking. I gotta work on my getting low.
You got them knees.
Getting low.
Okay. Can you talk about can you tell a story about maybe a project you were doing or you've been working on, and you finally it happened and it was like a great experience, pretty much a high. Can you talk about one of your experiences you had at you were working on something and everything happened exactly what you thought, and it was beautiful, and you're like, wow, it really worked,
Absolutely. For like reporting or anything specific, or
anything in your life that you were like, you always look back and like, well, I had evidence, I put in the work for this thing, and then the outcome actually worked. So I'm gonna do it again, even though I don't see the results. I'm still gonna keep going because the evidence was there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I've done a lot of things throughout my career. I have a lot of variety. If you go on my page, I do a lot, but I think it's cool that I do a lot of freelance jobs, so I can, create my own schedule and still do everything I love. Most recently in this last football season, I had a connection that took me to the Maxed Out podcast, creating that podcast. I just had a friend of a friend, and they were like, hey, do you want to be a reporter for the Maxwell Club? And I was like, sure. Like, I don't really know what that entails, but they were able to get me interviews with Travis Hunter, Ashton Denty, Abdul Carter,
Wow.
Dylan Gabriel. I interviewed South Carolina's coach, Army's coach, like so many people. And I remember I was like, wow, like it's happening. Those interviews are happening, and they would schedule them. I was like, okay, these are happening. And so that's when I was like, okay, we got to plan and get ready. Like I prepared for this moment in my life. Like I'm ready for the moment. That was like that one of those like moments, the dream come true moment. So I just, do what I did. I wrote my notes down, prepared, and I did the interviews, and they all went so good. I put so much work into it, and they just turned out amazing. And it was just one of those moments, like all my hard work paid off. And of course I did a lot of things through my high school football career that have made me capable to do that moment. And because reporting is hard, and talking on the fly is hard, asking the right questions, making it flow. It's hard to do. Like doing a podcast or being a podcast host is not an easy thing. Right. And sometimes it feels like unnatural. So I loved the way it went, and it was just one of those moments like, oh my gosh, I did it. So it was, exciting moment in my life.
Yeah, that's funny. Like that's how we started out, like our first episode of the podcast. Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah, I was going to go off that. But
it is like we're like, all right, let's just do it, And so we like wrote out different questions that we had, and then we had our first guest, and like it was just so structured, but it wasn't us. And then we're like, all right, let's just we got the flow of it. Let's just go ahead and go, right? Like, and now like we do Q&A panels at our events. We don't. Preparation is so important. Like that was what you were saying. Preparation is super important. Right. But for us, what works is going off of the fly. If you have that baseline understanding of somebody, then you can, like, I'm very good with being on the fly. I think I thrive more in it.
Yeah, I like bullet points. I like just to put bullet points. So I know if the conversation is like hits a dead spot, we pivot. Like I know just to look at the bullet point, I'm like, oh, let's talk about, this. Let's transition. Let's turn things over. And yeah, I think nowadays the world is so conversational. You turn on ESPN, turn on anything. People want to just, feel a part of your life. That's why I feel like influencers are so big nowadays. People want to be a part of your life.
Exactly.
Not people get to do interesting stuff. They go to an office, work, and they, want to be a part of your cool life if you get those cool opportunities. So I think it's just, a way of being conversational and be relatable too.
Yeah. What was interviewing Travis Hunter like?
He was good. He was nice to me. I got to interview him twice when he was, it was throughout the season. And then I got to interview him right before the draft in person, the Maxwell Awards. And we got to do that at the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta. And
so cool.
Yeah, he was really kind, and he was really nice to me. I will speak very highly of Ashton Genty. Those kids were raving about him, especially when we were at the Maxwell Awards. They did like a high school event for the young athletes there in Atlanta, and Ashton Genty showed up because it was the day before the big awards, and those kids just went insane for him. Yeah, he was really kind. But I do, Travis Hunter, he was kind to me. So I can only say good stuff about him.
Is he normally not? Is that why you say that, or?
I've heard maybe he's kind of standoffish.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah, I'm not tracking. I'm an NBA guy. We both played basketball growing up, so I primarily follow basketball more than I do football.
What do y'all think about the finals? Who wants?
After last night, everything changed because I had OKC winning like in 5 or 6, but now we're gonna see.
See, I think OKC will win, but I like an underdog just like yourself, Taylor. So
totally.
For me, the underdog is the Pacers. So game 1, that was crazy, but like I think OKC will run away with it.
Mm-hmm.
So
I hope so. If they lose one more, it's done, bro.
Right.
But it's a treat. It's a treat because I'm a basketball head. Like I'm a basketball nerd. So the fact that we get this type of level of competitiveness in the NBA Finals, I'm here for it.
Yeah,
I agree, because I heard all the talk that OKC was just gonna, blow them out, and it was just 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, you're done.
Nah, I don't think it's a blowout.
To game 7, it's been cool for everyone.
Yeah. For football, what do you who's on your radar for the Super Bowl? You know, obviously we're coming off the season where the Eagles just won. But who's on your radar that might be a sleeper that could be in the top spot next year?
NFL wise, see, I would love to see, Dan Campbell and the Lions get there, or the Bills.
The Bills, they've been needing. Yeah, I'm a Pats fan.
The Bills, they've been on the cusp for years now.
For years, yes.
I do like Josh Allen and what he's done for the Bills Mafia. So I think it would be cool if he could finally get the job done. But I do like Dan Campbell, and I think the Lions have some potential. I don't follow their team as much. I do more college football, so I don't know how much talent they lost or what they gained. But I think if I was going to go with a team, I will say the Bills, because I think they've been that close for all these years, trying to get the job done.
What do the Cowboys need to do? I'm not a Cowboys fan. I'm not a Cowboys fan, but I know we have Cowboys fans that listen to this podcast. So talk to them. Talk to Jerry Jones for a second. What do they need to do to eventually be America's team again?
Yeah. That's a tough question. Hardest question yet. Well,
do they need to get rid of Dak?
Or does Jerry need to leave? We don't know.
I don't think Dak is helping the situation. I think they could use, a better quarterback. I think he got paid a lot of money, but I don't know why he was paid that much money. So I think they could definitely use some love in the quarterback position. But also, Jerry Jones, he's been around for a while.
We gotta get some new blood in there.
It's time to pass the baton, right? You can still be a part of it, but keep it close. Pass it to your family.
That's what I do.
Enjoy life. Yeah, I think I'm more of a Texans fan, so
yeah.
Cowboys, they kind of need a whole rebuilding situation over there.
No, we're gonna win it next year.
Manifest it, right?
They've been manifesting it for 20 plus years.
Maybe 25 years, man.
Yeah,
I think 30 years actually. No, I have a question off sports, but do you read any books? Joseph's a strong reader. I'm starting to get back into it. Do you read any self-help books? Any books that help you stay grounded and keep going forward?
I don't read as much as I should, but I do listen to a lot of podcasts.
Okay.
Podcast, but I have read a couple of self-help books.
What podcast do you listen to, or you'd recommend to other people outside of the Maxed Out podcast that you're a host of?
Right. I love the big ones like Jay Shetty. I like his. Okay. He does a good job with that. Armchair Expert. I do like his. It's with Dak Shepard. He interviews a lot of celebrities and experts. So he touches on a lot of different things you wouldn't think of. He had a longevity expert on the other day and talking about how much plastic you eat. And I was like, oh my goodness, we need to eliminate plastic intake. Yeah. But just like that, but they're very candid and they just speak openly, which is great. And then I think those are the two main ones that I can think of on the top of my head. But the other times I'm probably editing my podcast, that kind of thing.
Yeah, we know how it goes.
Do y'all have any to recommend?
Outside of the CROWNEDCAST podcast,
right.
I haven't been big on podcasts probably in the last year. Usually I go to YouTube, so I'll look up Myron Golden, Daniel Presley, Alex Hormuzzi. I like watching their content, which is basically in podcast format, just on YouTube. But those are usually my top go-tos. But I'm in a place to where sometimes I feel like there's only so much learning you can do. And then because I listen to learn. Mm-hmm. And then it gets to a crowded place in your mind because everybody has different perspectives and different ideas on certain things. But a good podcast that is just kind of just I wouldn't say a waste, but just chill. Joe Rogan. You can never go wrong with some Joe Rogan.
No, totally. Yeah. He is a great podcast.
Yeah. We're trying to get there. We'll get there. Keep going, man. Keep going. Wow. I mean, do you have any like any upcoming events that you're kind of excited about? Anything that's coming, like any projects that you can share that you're like, yeah, I've been working on this for a while and now I'm starting to see it come to fruition. And
Yeah, I have an exciting event happening in a couple of weeks. I think I don't know if I can, but it's happening in Vegas in a couple of weeks. I was hired as a content creator working for a smaller company, and basically it's a bunch of linemen partnering up with UFC.
Okay.
They're all getting together and doing a camp, and I get to be the content reporter. So it's going to be super exciting to be close hand in hand with all these NFL linemen. There's a couple Cowboys going, and I know there's a Cardinal player, but I think there's about like 10 or 12 linemen that are going, but they're partnering with UFC. So it's a big, exciting opportunity that I get to network with all the UFC people too, which is a huge thing that I have not really tapped into, but I think it's cool. I think UFC and fighting is so big. Like the more the people you meet, the better. So that's an exciting project I have coming up here in the next couple of weeks.
That's awesome. That's a CROWNEDCAST exclusive.
There you go. Yeah, this is the first time I've told anyone.
I love it.
That's amazing. I don't know. You're inspiring because like you just remind me just to keep going. Like a lot of times you look at Instagram, I even look at your Instagram, I'm like, man, how does what algorithm does she use? What does she do? How does she meet these people? But pretty much hearing your testimony, hearing who you are, you're like, it's about keep going. Find your niche, find what you're good at, find your calling that God has given you and put it out there and then just keep going until the door opens up, because it seems like that's what's happened to you. Like doors have been opening up, but it came from you keep going, you keep doing what you're doing, what you're called to do. And so I'm really inspired just hearing your story today.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think if the main message I can get across, once you know your why, the how will figure its way out. I think that's how you do it. You find your why, your purpose, and once you find that, the rest will work its way out.
That's great advice. And I think we should end on that. Before we go, tell everybody where they can connect with you, where they can find you, how they can get the tickets to the Vegas event that you're doing. Give it all.
Yeah, so my social media, easy, Taylor Ahrens, my name for Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Easy enough, just Taylor Ahrens. And this event, I believe I can send y'all. I'm not too sure about tickets and everything on that, so I will have to get back to you guys on that.
Link in the description.
There you go.
Awesome. And for the Maxed Out podcast, is it on YouTube? What platforms can they go and subscribe to get connected with that? Yep,
YouTube. The social media, the maxwallawards.com and Maxwell Maxed Out social media handles. I think the official Instagram is the Maxwell Awards.
Okay.
I also have Texas HS football. That is my podcast, or our website that covers high school football too. So either one works.
Perfect. I love it. Thank you so much for your time today. It's been a blessing. Just like Joel said, you're super inspirational for women. I have a daughter, so it's awesome to see women that are just like breaking down barriers and making things happen, and like not taking no for an answer, but doing it in such a classy way. So thank you for that. Like we need that in the world, and keep on passing that knowledge, that wisdom to the other young women that are following in your footsteps. So very grateful for you.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. It was fun for sure. We always close out the podcast with our guests praying. Is that something that you'd be open to doing and praying us out?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, cool. Dear Lord, thank you so much for having us here and pulling us all together here in the great, beautiful state of Texas. Just so blessed for all the opportunities that you've given all three of us, and all the opportunities that are still on our way, and keeping the faith and keeping the positivity. Even if we're finding the lowest of lows, we're going to keep believing that our highest of highs are coming. We just thank you so much. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. That's it. Another episode of the CROWNEDCAST with Miss Taylor Ahrens. Thank you
so much. Appreciate it.
All right. We'll see y'all next time.